All right, people, we are here with none other than my fellow commissioner, Brandon P. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good, going good. Just happy to be here.
Glad we could get
Hopefully,
you in. Yes, sir. All right, so let's get things kicked off with our first question. I've been wanting to know this myself for a while. How did you first get into, I guess, Pokemon in general? And then not only that, but competitive Pokemon. What drew you into that specifically outside of, because I feel like there's a lot of folks that are just like, they play it casually or Nuzlocks, I feel like it takes a certain type of person to really get into the competitive scene. So what's your story?
okay. So the way I got into Pokemon is actually kind of crazy because so back when I was so just for reference, I'm 28. So back when I was 6 years old, my mother, you know, she told me to pick a color, red or blue. And the thing is, my favorite color has always been blue, so I told her blue. And mind you, this is for my sixth birthday. So whenever I came home that day, I came home to two things: a Game Boy Advance SP, which I didn't even know what that was before she got it for me. And she also got me a copy of Pokemon Sapphire. So that's how I got into the actual games because up to that point, I mainly just collected like the cards and the toys. I didn't know there was a Game Boy. I didn't know you could play Pokemon in a video game. So, Mom, if for whatever reason you're watching this, thank you. But the competitive side of it, well, as you can imagine, at six, that's not where my competitive side started because I didn't know what an EV, an IV, I didn't know about natures. I didn't even know about the whole well, I kind of knew about the type charts because of Ash, but even then, think about it. In the anime, Pikachu one-shotted a freaking Onyx, so that's what my understanding of type charts was. But
It
I
ain't
got
got
into
no effect on a rock, from what I hear.
but I got into competitive around the time I was I want to say the fifth or sixth grade is when I kind of started messing with it a little bit because
Okay.
well, actually I don't know if I can even count this because so basically what happened was in the fifth grade. That is, well, actually fourth grade for me. That is when Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out. So I remember before that if you wanted to play against someone, you had to play on a link cable. Now I played a few games on link cables, but I don't count them because the few games I played was literally my friend with his level 100 Blaziken and his level 100 Groudon beating up my level 16 team. I don't count that,
Hmm. Was he?
but
He had got to be using action replay, right? I mean,
oh no, he
or
just had the
oh,
game
he
longer
just
than me.
grinded at the Elite Four. Wow.
Hmm. And but what's crazy, his Blaziken and Groudon were the only things that were like high level. Literally every other Pokemon he had, like basically the level they would be if you just caught them in the wild. But hey, I couldn't beat him.
Oh, so wait,
I don't,
so Blaziken and Groudon in Diamond and Pearl, so he must have transferred those over, I guess, from his
oh my
Gen 2
bad.
games.
I should have specified. I'm talking about back when I was in the first grade and I
Oh,
was
I see.
playing
Yeah.
Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he yeah, my friend was a jerk. Like he knew I just got the game, but he was still like, hey, you want to play? Worst decision of my life. But that was the day I learned that Combuskin evolves into Blaziken. So
Okay.
just not because I just picked Torchic because I have a habit of always picking the fire starters. So that just yeah, that learning that Combuskin becomes a Blaziken after watching Blaziken beat up my childhood's hero Charizard, yeah, that I was looking forward to getting a Blaziken. But I was just saying that's technically when I first started playing against people, but I kind of don't count it because I didn't know anything and they were just bullying me.
Yeah.
But it was in the fifth grade when I started playing like my friends online because that's when Diamond and Pearl came out. We got the GTS system. So, you could just play people on Wi-Fi. So me and my friends would go home. We would look each other up. We still didn't know what we were doing. We were basically doing what like the noobs do now in the random matches where they
Like the
just bring
in-game
six.
teams.
No, the six Ubers.
Oh, the six. Oh, I see. Yeah. Dang.
But I had this one friend named Nick who one day just suggested, so guys, why don't we try using regular Pokemon? As you can imagine, me and my other friends were like so against it because we wanted to use our well, I had a Darkrai, no one else had it, but we just wanted to use our Darkrai's, our Palkias, our Dialgas. But eventually we came over to what my friends did, and we realized, oh, when you don't use all these legends, it's kind of tougher.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like where I started playing against friends and stuff. But I still didn't know about EVs or IVs or none of that. I didn't learn about that stuff till like 15 years later, if I'm being honest.
Wow, 15 years after Diamond and Pearl? When was that?
Uh, Actually, it might be a little
That's
longer than
like,
15. It might be a
was
little
that like
longer than
Sword
that.
and Shield or?
Yeah, Sword and Shield because I got after so I played Gen 5. I mean, I still played competitively, like on what's it called? We have Discord now, but back then it was called Neo Seeker. I played competitively on there, but I didn't know about. The only thing is, I didn't know about EVs and IVs, so I knew how to build sets. I just didn't know. Oh, my Pokemon is slower than. Like for example, there was a time where I have an Archeops. An Archeops. I cannot
Yeah.
remember what it was slower than, but I do remember just thinking to myself, "Aren't I supposed to be faster than you?" I can't remember what Pokemon it was. I can't remember if it was like a Ferrothorn dude, it was something that Archeops outspeeds. I can't remember what it was. But so I was still losing a lot of games because I didn't know about EVs. But then in Sword and Shield, that's when I learned about them from watching. Honestly, I don't know who I watched because in Scarlet and Violet I started out watching Jack, but like just Weavile. But before
Yep.
that, I don't know who I watched. But I learned about EVs through that.
Nice.
Dang, what
I
But yeah.
remember I was growing up, well, coming up in the age of like X and Y. So I was before X and Y came out, I was trying to learn a bunch of stuff. So I watched J-Wits and I got a lot of Pokemon information from there.
hmm
And then I further learned like how to actually implement that stuff with like Pokeaim and Shofu.
Oh, that's what's up. For me, I had to be honest. Okay, so when I first started playing Sword and Shield, it was like a few months before Scarlet and Violet came out. So I kind of just got it just so I can get like back into Pokemon as the new game was coming out. Uh, Even though I was watching Jack a lot, I think what really helped me learn how to play Pokemon was just getting into his server and then just requesting battles because Um, when I first, it's like a night, it's like a night and day difference, kind of, because when I first like came into this server, I honestly, for the most part, I was losing every single battle I got into. But at the same time, I was learning a lot too. And then over time, I just learned how to apply some of the stuff I saw to what I was building because I didn't know like every generation kind of has like a meta. Like some metas are more offensive, some are more balanced, some are more stally,
Yep.
and not knowing how that stuff worked, it was kind of tough at first. The main person who was kicking my butt, you guys all know him, is Pokemaster 88. Like he used to just like he
Classic.
used to yes. Like that's how me and him kind of like started playing each other because he would always either he would request the battle and and then I would just like respond to it or I'll request and he'll respond to it. Um
I
yeah,
remember
he
having many of battles with Pokemaster during the early days of Scarlet and Violet in the the Battle Hub server.
it seemed like he was always around.
He was always there, I think I remember saying sometimes in the battles, I was like, "Here we are back again versus Pokemaster."
I want to say now I'm pretty sure the record is like even at this point, but I want to say this is no exaggeration. I want to say he beat me somewhere, and it was like a wide range, but I promise you, it was somewhere between like 12 and 20 times before I finally beat him once.
Yeah.
Like, and it was him as well as like a few other guys who, y'all might know them, y'all might not, but yeah, it was definitely it's been a journey these last few years because boy,
Yeah.
it was very rough in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, Pokemon is a game of experience, like I always like to say, and the best way to get that experience is just to battle a bunch of times and learn from that, and you certainly did. But I am wondering though, because you said you played through Black and White. What happened to X and Y and Sun and Moon? Were you like, was that your hiatus?
Yeah, because around X and Y, so two things happened around this time. The first big thing that happened was my DS got stolen. Like
Oh
it was like
man.
it was like the summertime. I'm staying at my grandmother's house. My mom's at work. We all go back home the very next day, and oh dang, someone broke into our house, and they didn't took the DS and all that. Now I could have gotten another DS if I wanted to, but well, I didn't really want my mom spending money on it at the time because I knew I probably wasn't going to play it as much. Because around this time, I started playing the DS a little less anyway because I'm s- I'm like 15, I think. I'm like 15 or 16 around this time,
Right.
and I'm in high school. I'm starting to get letters from colleges for some for soccer, some for academics. So I really
Yep.
wanted to focus on that stuff around that time. So in general, I just played video games a lot less.
Not
But I
fair.
still kept up with like the games as they came out. Like I would still go on Cerebi, see what's new with the games.
Okay.
Go on YouTube and watch like like the it. If anything, if nothing else, I would watch like some of the like for example the Kahuna battles or the legendary battles. I would watch
Yep.
stuff like that, but I didn't really play the game as much mainly because of sports. Sports.
Yeah, that's fair. Man, that's a tragedy. I tell you what, I had like, it's like you and me took complete opposite paths because I didn't even get to start playing Pokemon until X and Y came out. And I understand what, because there was a point where I had a 3DS and I was using it to play Mario Kart, but I didn't even really play it that much. So it
Mhm.
was like I've got this 3DS that's just like almost like untouched, like mint condition, but then X and Y came out, and it was like my whole world just opened up, and it was like right when I was starting high school. So it was like my whole entire high school experience was defined by Pokemon X and Y and ORAS, and I was really like playing it like I did sports like cross country and track, but the thing was we had to like take long bus trips to be able to go to them. So what was I doing? I was breeding my Pokemon while I was waiting for my event in track. I was breeding Pokemon. You know what I mean? I mean,
Heck yeah.
I was taking a lot of AP classes all the same, but here's the thing. There's a trick where you put the penny in the slot in the 3DS. So I would literally be doing my homework while my DS was off to the side, automatically hatching eggs. It was crazy. But
Huh.
that's what Pokemon did to me, bro. It completely changed my whole world. But yeah, that's crazy. So it must have been when you got a Switch that you're like, all right, let me go ahead and get Sword and Shield.
Heck yeah, because I mean like the main reason I got back into Pokemon is because after college, something I realized was something I realized I was kind of missing from my life that I had because I had in college, I had it in high school, middle school, elementary school. Just something that on a day-to-day basis is going to be mentally stimulating. Like sure, I had my job, we're in an office, and I guess but to me I needed something that was gonna like something that really makes me think. I know some people they just read books every day.
Yeah.
I do that too, but even then there comes times where I don't even what where reading is just not like I want
Yeah.
something that's gonna like
You need a
make
hobby,
me think,
basically.
but it's also yeah that. And
Absolutely.
so I got back into Pokemon because I realized like I'm teaching myself about the EVs, the IVs, how you run certain sets, certain Pokemon stat, like all these like all these variables that go into how to make a team. When I started learning Pokemon was that complex, I was like, well, if I need something that's mentally stimulating, something I like, something I find fun, I might as well do this because I know deep down, if I never got the DS stolen, I would have kept playing. But whenever it got stolen, it just wasn't like a priority to get another one at the time.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let's get back into Pokemon. Let's go back to our roots.
Absolute. Let's go. That's what I'm saying, bro, because I was thinking about it like bef up until that point when I started playing X and Y, like to me, I was like, oh, Pokemon, that's a kid's game. Who's playing Pokemon, bro? I was certainly not me. And so then I was like starting to dip my toes in because my friend was telling me like you got to get Pokemon, bro. You got to get Pokemon X and Y. I was like, you know what? These updated graphics, they look really cool. It's like a Mega Pokemon. Well, I didn't even know what the Gen 1 Pokemon were to begin with, but they look cool.
Hmm.
But and it's like once it's like it just all opened up. It was like, bro, EVs, IVs. It's like all these moves, all these combinations, and it was like it was like that scene. And I don't know if you've seen Doctor Strange. Whenever like his third eye opens up and he sees the Matrix, he sees through everything. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like it's like, how do people not even realize that all this is here? It's like crazy. So I was like, nah, Pokemon's way deeper than a kid's game.
That's whenever people do say it's a kid's game. I always just like either, I mean, if I cared enough to say it, or if I don't say it, I'll at least think it. It's like I just know this game is like it's like grown up chess a little bit. Like
Exactly.
now, of course, this is assuming we're playing like competitive because obviously you still have those people who, oh, let me just hop on random battles with my six Ubers. Okay, that's not competitive. But people who do like that's one thing I like. That's one reason I like the draft league because
Yeah.
it's like, yo, like it's super competitive. You gotta really put your head into it.
Yeah, even at that simplistic level though of like random battles, if like two people like go in competently and play it out, there is a lot of mind games and strategic thought that's involved, even if you're not prepping the teams yourself. But yeah, absolutely. I guess that's a perfect way to get into it because we've already gotten into about you getting into the Battle Hub server. Now, how did you get into the BHDL?
That's an amazing question. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Biridu just sent me like he brought. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Biridu just brought the league to my attention and
Yep.
then just asked me if I would like to apply for their first season. And I already wanted to get into draft anyway. I just didn't know how to because I think King Burr might have said the same thing that I'm about to say, but when I first saw draft, I thought it was like, like one of those things like just that only YouTubers do.
Right, yeah.
Um because the main person I saw doing it was Adam. I mean, a Prater, Mr. Prater 54.
Of course, yeah.
And he's always uploading, and it seemed like you had to upload. So I was like, I guess I can't do that. And then when Beardy sent me the invite, I'm sitting here like, oh, well, I can be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I can be wrong.
Yeah,
And
that was the
then,
beautiful thing was that we allowed for like it wasn't upload required. That allowed a lot of people to dip their toes into it.
because I think around the time the only people that were uploading anyway were you, Captain Beanard, a
Beardo,
Prater, Bread
Scorpion, a
Pudding, and
Praetor, yeah.
maybe Beardo. I know Scorpion. Wait,
Yeah.
actually, Scorpion might have just started uploading around this
He
time.
just started, yeah, as I remember.
Yeah, I just thought about that. Like oh dang, he was uploading his season one because
Yep.
I watched our game.
Yep.
Dang,
Yeah,
that's
that was
crazy.
the beauty. It was even though it was not upload required, we still had a good amount of people to where usually we could watch almost every game every week. There might have been a few that fell through the cracks, but for the most part, we could watch the games.
And then what's
But then
crazy
still
too,
allow for new people to come in.
and what's crazy since then, most of the guys who weren't uploading then, but have still been around for the last 5 seasons. Most of us, if not all of us, are uploading at this point. Like it's kind of hard to not catch a battle on video in the BHDL nowadays, and you love to see it.
Exactly. It's a beautiful
Show
thing.
some her.
The power of a capture card, I'm saying, changed my life once I started uploading to YouTube. Because I'd always wanted to do that, like being inspired by the thousands of Showdown lives and Wi-Fi battles from back in the day that I used to watch. I always wanted to do it. So once I got it, I was like, now's my time.
And see, that's another thing. I used to think capture cards were all like Like I thought capture cards were always going to be like $200, $300 until one day a Prater was just like, and I want to say he might have said this verbatim, dude, you can just get one for $30. And then he just sent me the Amazon
Ah,
link, and I was like, oh,
nice.
okay.
Beautiful.
And then no, and she's
So
just how
what?
I got uploading.
Yeah. Dang. So BHDL was your first draft league, correct? So how did you come up with like your logo for that?
Uh, the logo. Well, the logo I came. Well, the idea came because of the team name because we're as y'all know we are the Pied. I'm the coach of the Piedmont Triad Kickers.
Yes, sir.
The Piedmont Triad came from. So the Piedmont Triad comes from where I went to school at. It's called Greensboro, North Carolina. That area is
Oh yeah.
called the Piedmont Triad area. And
Ah,
then where I live now, we have a local soccer team that's called the Kickers. So I just put them together, the Piedmont Triad Kickers. And then from there, it was just easy to be like, oh, we have Kickers in the name. Cinderace is my favorite Pokemon. Let's put Cinderace in the logo.
It makes
And
sense. It all comes together.
heck yeah. And I'm glad that I haven't. I'm not sure if y'all could remember what my first logo was, but I have to say I'm very glad that Lazy Boy gave me a new logo because my old one, I had to make it myself. We tried. We tried.
Yeah, I'm trying. I need to. I don't know if I can find. When did the were you using the first logo still in season two?
I was.
Okay, I'll pull that up on the side just so I can look at it later. But so you're in BHDL, kind of walk me through because your season one journey, I know you were still getting used to it, but man, I tell you what, I still think about that heroic season two run, man, like it's just one of like the biggest like rags to riches stories, you know? Like going the improvement that you had, dude, was like you could write a movie script off of that, man. That was beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. So in season one, my biggest problem was, I had like two big problems. Well, maybe three. One of the biggest problems, and I think all of us go through this in draft, was just overthinking the matchup. And there's just times where it's part of me being new to draft, and then also something I did in season one that I haven't really done as much since then is back in season one, I would literally try to prep for every single Pokemon. And then I want to say, like, I eventually stopped doing that because either it was Pokemaster or it was Scorpion who finally said something I should just realize. Like, why are you prepping for this? What are the odds they bring this Pokemon when you have this, this, and that? I'm sitting here like, oh, you got a point, right?
Yep.
So one big thing in season one was just me trying to prep for everything when in reality I needed to just narrow down what I think is going to come and maybe have like a move or two for the unexpected. Uh so my prep was mostly just, kind of like standard stuff when I could have maybe tried to do, actual draft stuff. And then also in season one, I used to max everything because I'm approaching this with like a Smogon mindset. But
Right.
now this one I actually remember it was Scorpion because I remember season one at the end of season one. This is back when we had the wild card like thing. So
Well, yep.
basically, seventh seed would play the ninth seed, eighth seed would play the 10th seed for their playoff spot. I
Yes.
was 10th. Pokemaster was eighth. And what's hilarious, Scorpion. Not only did Scorpion help us both prep, he built both our teams, and we literally both brought the teams to the game.
He built both of your teams?
Like he built so basically he built mock teams for the both of us. And
Oh
I
yeah.
can't remember how it came about, but we ended up getting like he ended up just giving us like, the team he built for the other person. And then we're just sitting and then me and Chris are both just sitting here like, huh, this these sets were kind of good.
Oh
So we
yeah.
ended up playing each other with set. So basically, if that game never got on camera, but if it was literally, it would basically be Scorpion versus Scorpion, but it's just me versus Chris. But that's basically what it was because he built both their teams, and that was the closest game I played all season. Well, first of all, I'm surprised I went to the wild card spot, but that was the closest game I played all season. So in season two, I'm sitting here like, okay, because around the time I didn't really know Scorpion like that anyway. Like I talked to him a few times in BHDL. This is like when I started really getting to talk to him more. So in
Yep.
season two, I was sitting here like, okay, he built a really solid team for me, and he did really well in season one. If I need some advice, maybe I should just ask him. So what I would do is I would make a team and then I would send him the Poke Paste because I didn't want him to build the team for me. I'd more so just wanted his opinion on what I was making. And then like I want to say it's like the first team I made when I played Stefan week one where Scorpion was just like, so you don't I want to say it was my Urshifu because I had Urshifu Rapid Strike. I can't remember what it
Yep.
was, but he was just like, you don't gotta run max speed for this game, right? And I was like, what do you mean? Well, Urshifu's base 97, whatever the heck I'm trying to speed creep is obviously slower. So he was telling me that's when I learned about saving EVs. And I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I feel like that just changed everything for me because I'm not wasting EVs anymore, and I feel like it's come a long way. Like that's helped me a lot. Um,
Yep. That's a crucial
yeah,
aspect.
and I feel like that's where like the rags to riches kind of started. Like I started actually putting thought into where the EVs go. And also, I just started to not over prep for stuff. I just prep for the specific things I'm thinking. And then in games, the plays weren't as awkward because I don't have awkward moves. I think that's like the basis of how everything changed around.
Yeah. Wow. That's yeah, I'm trying to think like I go back through like that semifinals game and going into the like I was rooting for you, bro, because I wanted to have because I up to that point we had never battled. And that's
Hmm.
crazy to think that in season one that if you had won that wild card spot that we could have faced off in the quarterfinals. But yeah,
Yeah, season two was definitely. I'm not gonna lie, season two surprised me more than it probably more than it surprised everyone else because I did not think. I didn't think season two was going to go that great. And then ever since season two, I've just been constantly trying to like recreate that team composition because I'm pretty sure you've gone through it too. Like you just build
yeah,
this
me
team and
trying to
it's like
recreate
and
season one.
yes, and it's like, bro, how do we do this? Because that team was just oh
Yeah,
my
the
god.
hardest part of it too is having to I think that we've experienced this. So as the seasons have gone on, is that as the coaches get more and more experienced, it's harder and harder to get the exact team that you want in mind. You know what I mean? A lot of the
Hmm.
stuff gets taken. Like the reason why I think I was able to get that season one team, especially where I was at in the draft, was because there was a lot of new folks, and even the folks like a Prater and Bread that were experienced. They had done so much draft that they were trying to experiment themselves. So it left a lot of stuff for me to just be able to get.
And I know in season two for me, I feel like I feel like what really carried me in season two was drafting Pokemon that other people just did not want to touch and then just making them work. Like for example, one Pokemon that really popped off for me in season two was Cresselia, who first of all, I only picked Cresselia up because in the power rankings, and it was you who said this. You said my team had no real physical defensive backbone because I had Clodsire, so no one
Yep,
could say I
no
didn't have a
Claude, yeah.
special one. But you said unless I'm going to bring a max physically defensive Rotom every single week, I really have no physical backbone. And when I looked at my team, I was like, you know what? He has a point. And not too long before this, Chris, Pokemaster 88, who to this day talks down on Cresselia,
Yep.
unironically, he 6-0'd me with a Calm Mind Stored Power Cresselia not too long before the draft started. So
Wow.
I'm sitting here like, if I need a defensive
Cresselia is
backbone,
fresh on the mind.
exactly. And I'm saying like, if I need something, let's get this thing. And
Nice.
then I can't remember who I ended up dropping for it, but I dropped somebody for it. And Cresselia, Bisharp, 'cause I feel like Bisharp is actually I want to say since then the only person who's drafted Bisharp is DRVR. Like in this most recent season, like seasons 3 and 4, no one picked him up. I don't think he even got picked up in season one. So I feel like just having these mons that people just discounted and then making them work for me is another thing.
Yeah. Wow, this is crazy. Essentially, you dropped Ursa Ring and Murkrow for Cresselia. That looks like the best deal. That's a deal of a lifetime right there.
I picked those up.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I don't know.
I
Wow.
had those. I can't believe I did
That's
that. They
what the
didn't.
doc says.
Yeah, yeah, it's a deal of a lifetime then. Actually, the deal of the lifetime was the fact that because I was even a commissioner. We weren't even commissioners back then. It was well, actually, I think you were, but it was I remember this is back
No, I
when
don't think I
Beerusy.
was at this point. Yeah, I think that we became commissioners in season three once Scorpion took over.
Oh, so you were
I
just
was
in
I
the
was just on the power rankings because I was like, yo, can I do the power rankings
oh
this time?
okay, I feel because I remember Stefan was a commissioner and a couple other guys. Okay, this all makes sense now. Okay, now it all makes sense. Um, Dang, but I was going to say, well, the commissioners, the guys we had back then running it, I'm just really glad they allowed Tara Bisharp and Tara Cresselia that season.
Yeah. This
because
thing had
seasons
20
three and
kills, bro.
four,
This Bisharp had 20 kills. That's crazy.
and this is the logo that could have been, but it's all good because I know in the memories of everybody, this Bisharp was a menace. And
Yeah, that is a good point. Cause where's the standings at? Where does it say where it has the match date or anything like that? I guess it does. I'm trying to find it, but I can't see on here. Oh wait, no, here we go. Top 10 killers. Yeah, look at that. Bisharp just edges out
um,
the Sneasler.
and the thing is, Bisharp, like Cresselia. So when I picked up Cresselia, I'm expecting it to be like a defensive piece. I didn't expect it to actually be like I can't remember if it ended the season in the top 10, but I know it was in top 10 for a vast majority of the season. And then Bisharp, the same thing. I drafted it so I could have like a bulky steel type. I didn't expect it to just be, you know, punching holes and everything.
Yeah,
Because not to sound like I'm talking down on anyone's skill. I'm just pointing something out. Something that really surprises me because Pokemaster was the only person who did this all season. Uh Bisharp is starting to pick up on kills, starting to, just sucker punch its way through things. Pokemaster was the only person, and it kind of surprises me. He was the only person who had the thought of mind, okay, I have to hit you for you to sucker punch me. So what if I encore you? What if I trick you? What if I, you
Mm,
know, use moves like this? I remember one big reason I lost to him was because 'cause I lost because he was the first person who beat me that season. I know one big reason I lost was because he just kept disrupting everything I wanted to do with
yeah,
like, status moves. And I do feel like if more people did that, Bisharp might not be as high as he is, but I'm so glad we was able to get him there
yeah.
because
Was he
that was a
doing
great.
that with the? Well, no, he couldn't have been doing it with the Sableye unless you Terra or with like the Espeon or like the.
I think I did Terra, and I can't
Ah,
remember if he
okay.
had Sableye or if he had Grafai because I played him like twice around this time, and I want to say he had one of each on his team. But
Ah, maybe he
but
made some
I'll,
transactions because I only
and
see Sableye.
and also I remember him having like a trick Espeon as well. Because I remember
Ah,
he might have tricked. Actually, he might have been tricked. He might have had the Sableye and the Espeon because I remember he actually tricked a scarf onto my Cresselia as I was setting up, and I'm sitting here like you jerk,
yep.
you jerk.
That's how you beat it. Yeah,
But yeah, Chris, cool guy. He's a cool guy, guys. He's a cool guy.
yeah. So season three rolls around and we both get to become commissioners. What's it been like for you being a commissioner in the BHDL?
I really liked it because so I think it's fair to say I'm like one of the more. I'm probably the most quiet out of all of us. But I think but I've liked being a commissioner though because one I've like seeing it's nice seeing what's going on behind the scenes because I'm naturally a curious person, so I'd be wanting to know what's going on and stuff like that. And then I really appreciated Scorpion just having enough trust in me and being like, yeah, you want to be a commissioner? I'm sitting here like, you think I should be a commissioner in the league that you're running? Of course, man. I really appreciate the offer, but I've also just liked seeing but I've liked it because I've also been because I feel like being a commissioner and seeing like everything from a different perspective has really let me just see like how much the BHDL has been growing,
Yeah,
which I've really enjoyed to see because in season one we were one place and here we are all these seasons later. We've done different formats, we've grown. There's even been times where it looked like we would even have enough people to, open two divisions. Matter of fact,
yeah,
I can't remember if it was this season or last season, but I want to say one season we actually had enough people, but we didn't plan for it, so we couldn't implement it.
yeah,
So it's like, yeah, the BHTL has been growing, and I've been loving to see it. And then also, I like the BHDL in general because, like, as a in my like in real life, most of my friends they know I play Pokemon, but it's not a game that they play though. Like we have common games we play, but Pokemon's not one of them. So just having like a community I can come to, talk Pokemon with, and play with other people, and it's actually competitive games, not you just playing because you want to play with me type stuff. Like it's really great having that kind of environment
yeah,
and just being able to help maintain that as a commissioner. I really like it.
Yeah, see, that's one of those dynamics that always interests me because it's like we're all part of this like tight-knit community, online place, people all over the world from different countries. But then it's like the people right around us, it's like they don't even realize like what we've created, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Because
crazy.
I think it's fair to say like we have. It's crazy you said it. We literally have coaches from like pretty much all over because we have Ray in Russia,
Yeah, Scorp
Scorpions
in the Netherlands.
in Netherlands, Beardoos in Chile,
I
Mew
didn't even realize that I think DRVR is in India and I think Icy Dude's in Singapore. It's
Singapore
crazy.
or Malaysia, I think.
Oh yeah.
And then you got the Canadian Cody,
We got
and
the
then
Italian King Burra.
me, you, and Pokemaster. All three of us live in the U.S., but all three of us literally live in different time zones. So it's never,
Yeah. Got to manage those pesky time zones.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I do. I'm actually glad that we have the community we have because I don't think anyone actually makes it a big deal out of trying to schedule with them. Because I've seen in other leagues where it's like some people like if the time zones are that far apart, they will make a big deal out of it. So I really appreciate that we don't have to worry about that here.
Yeah, that is, you make a fair point. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Like, usually we're so interested in having the battle, and we just want to have a good time with the battle. Like, we don't care what time we got. Like, me personally, like, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. if I got to. You know what I mean? I just want to have a good
Mhm.
time.
Oh, for sure. Which is, and then, 'cause I want to now. Thankfully, no one has ever asked me to be up there. I think the earliest I ever had to play a battle is maybe 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and
I don't think I've
that's the
ever.
thing. I don't. No one's ever done that, but yeah, if I had to, I would. But yeah, because usually if there's a battle like that, it's just it's easy. We just play on the weekends, no problem. And
Mm-hmm.
usually that we find a time to overlap.
And it's kind of crazy because I think it's become a tradition. Well, not a tradition, but kind of a tradition. Because I'm not sure if you've peeped this or not, but like over the last like I want to say 3 seasons in the BHDL, with the exception of like a handful of people, I feel like most people have just moved towards exclusively trying to play on weekends. Except,
Yeah, I mean, if you're working, yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
heck
So,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's fine. Hey, like that's when prime time sports are, you know?
And that's another thing I like about draft. It gives like a sports vibe to it.
Yep.
Because I know whenever I try to talk to someone else about draft, like 9 times out of 10, if I'm explaining it to someone, they're going to just respond to me with, "Oh, so it's like fantasy football."
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what they always go back to.
yeah. But yeah, man, draft is great. Draft is
Yeah.
great.
So that leads me into my next thing is that since joining the BHDL, it seems to me that you have joined quite a few draft leagues, sir.
Hmm.
How do you manage being in all of these different leagues? Like what's the biggest amount of leagues that you've been in at once? Because it seems like I look at your channel and it's like I'm seeing like three different names of leagues. You know what I mean?
Mm, I think the most I've ever been in at one time is four.
Yeah.
Uh, Nowadays, I try my hardest to not go over two. I
Ah, okay,
couldn't.
that's good.
Now, granted, I didn't stick to that because I'm currently in three, but I try to stick to two because four got exhausting after a while trying to
Yeah.
because I train all my Pokemon in game, and then but when you're doing four and then you're playing a game every other day, it's kind of hard to keep
My
like to
goodness,
maintain
you
those
still do
resources.
that? That's crazy, bro. I mean, listen, if it's like a shiny Pokemon that I work like I know I did that in like season 3. Like I was actually going out and shiny hunting and resetting the EVs and training them. But with my teaching job right now, I was just, I usually I would be EV training, but I was just getting ability patches even for my Mewtwo and just selling them and genning fresh start mochis and doing it like that. But for all of them, bro, that's insane.
Yeah, because I've been helped by a combination of two things. So I've had like in the time I've been doing draft, I've worked two different jobs. The first job I was working when I first started doing draft, I'm in an office and like the office revolves around like our job revolves around like elections, like presidential elections and stuff like that. So as you can imagine, presidents aren't being elected every single day. So there's a lot of free time we would have, and in those times I would take my Switch to work, and I'd just be at work, just on my Switch. And now the job I work now, so it's a mailing, so I just deliver mail, but the way the job works is we don't get paid hourly. We get paid for like a set amount for doing our deliveries.
Meeting your
So
quota.
yeah, so basically there's no incentive for you to actually work 8 hours a day. So me
Oh,
as well as a lot of other people, we go in, we probably get done in like 5 or 6 hours. Like we could be done with work in like 4 or 5 hours. We still get
man, I
paid
wish I had
like
a
we work.
job like that.
Yeah, because you want to be a teacher. I mean, granted, being a teacher is fun. Being a teacher
Nah,
is fun.
bro, I'm out. Bro, I'm literally going back to the chemistry lab. I'm out of here. These
Oh
Gen Alpha
my.
kids are too much.
Not the Jet Alpha kids. But I feel you though. But yeah, man, like by as long as my job doesn't like open up late, I can be done with working like 4 or 5 hours. I get paid as if I worked 8, and then all that extra free hours I have, I just come home, tend to my dog. It's not like I have kids or anything yet, so sheesh, I start playing Mons, and that's where I get the free time to do especially since I've also found out some shortcuts to getting like material for the lotto machine. I just have to maintain the BP. That's kind of all I have to do.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I used to train all those Mons. But
Hey,
it's
there you
like
go.
it's like a mindset thing though,
Hey,
because
I know. I trust me. When I was back in high school, like that was me with my DS with the coin slot and doing it at
uh,
the track meet. Like just constantly breeding and training up Pokemon. Like, cause that was my way to relax, and my way of like, you get into the feng shui and you like put a podcast on in the background. It's a beautiful thing.
exactly. Because I remember like in the early Scarlet and Violet, I used to just do like. Now I don't do this as much anymore. I used to just do like random raids just to get material, and then just train stuff up every day, just have fun with it. Back when I was making
Huh.
teams, but in draft, I've just developed this mindset of if I'm going to use a Pokemon for 9 weeks, I like making it feel kind of personal, like it's a partner, because to me it just gives me more incentive to want to make it look good. Because
Yeah,
at the end
that's
of the
true.
day, I have to click the button. You can't make yourself look good. I literally have to click the button. And I don't know. I just remember back in season 2 when I would gen my teams, I didn't feel as attached to my teams back then. But
Right.
now that I do feel kind of attached to them, it makes me want to actually think about my plays.
Yeah. So wait,
Because
this Cinderace, has this been the same Cinderace the whole time, or do you use different Cinderaces?
I've used different ones. Because at first I was using sometimes I would use the unrivaled one. But then whenever Pokemon Home became a thing, I started using my starter Cinderace from Pokemon Sword.
Ah, yep, classic.
And then I want to say it was Pokemaster. Actually, it was Pokemaster. He taught me how to do like the Masuda method, and
Oh, yep.
then I ended up getting two more. I ended up getting one. No, 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 no. I got one shiny Cinderace. I found two in the two score bunnies in the Blueberry Academy, but yeah, after I Masuda that one, I mainly used that one for a very long time until he started missing all his Pyro Balls, and I said, maybe you need a break. Maybe you need a break.
Hey, it's like in D&D, whenever your D20 starts giving you too many low rolls, you switch it out for another one.
Exactly, and I started using. If I remember correctly, for the longest, I was using the starter Cinderace though, because I was sitting here like, you know what, you're the OG. You and me, we beat up an Eternatus together.
There you
Let's
go.
go. Let's go.
Which
Handle
Cinderace did you use versus me in the quarterfinals?
the starter Cinderace.
Oh no, that poor guy.
That
I'm
poor
still so
guy.
sorry about that.
Yeah, it happens. It's Pokemon for you. Oh, that's something else I can truthfully say has happened to me over these last few seasons. My relationship with losing has definitely improved. I don't know how yours is per se, but I know when I first started draft, my relationship with losing was so terrible. I'm glad we've came a few miles since then.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting for me because, like, starting out, like, the first two battles of BHDL where I literally was about to lose, and I feel like I only won because I think the best choke there at the end with his Florges. And then
Mhm.
battle number two, where I froze Captain Beanard. It's just been an uphill battle of me trying to claw my way out of this Hax karma. And it just still keeps happening. And it's like, so even when I lose, I'm like, you know what? I probably deserve it.
And saying, I'm not gonna lie, you say that, I just remember, like, I still get PTSD to season 4 BHDL, where for God, for reasons literally only God knows, I could not stop getting like being on the business end of hacks, like no matter for
Well,
the
that's
most
the
part.
thing, yeah, is that I feel like you've experienced a lot more acts. I'm so used to feeling guilty for dishing it out and on accident. Obviously I don't mean to, but it just happens.
And I be sitting here like, I just want more. Can I just get more cleaner games? Can I just please play cleaner?
I know we've got the opposite problem, and then you see me watching your battles and see how you're going through it. That's what I picture whenever do hacks with somebody. I'm like, oh no, what have I done to this poor person?
Because the thing about hacks, like I've accepted, it's just a part of the game. Like it happens, and I can't. And if I'm being honest, there's been times where hacks has helped me out. Like for example, in season 2, when I played Scorpion, if I remember now, he did allow me to store power his Oricorio several times. So eventually, one of them was going to
One of
crit.
them was gonna. It was basically whoever crit who first.
But at the same time, it's like I know and I cannot deny that without that crit, I never beat him.
Yeah.
I just don't. And there's been several games that were like that. And it's like when it happens, I want to roll with it, but I do be feeling bad on the inside.
Yeah, it's
But
the
then,
game we play. The way I look at it is if I lose to hacks, it's that and one of my what's my inspirations for Pokemon, the great Pokeaim MD himself said if you lose to hacks, then just think what could I have done in the battle to make sure that hacks didn't matter. You know what I mean? There's probably something maybe I could have played something better or done something a little more optimally. So it makes me want to go back and look to how I could have overcome that, you know what I mean? It helps me grow.
yeah. Because, like, for example, in season 4, I remember when I played the notorious HIM, because speaking of that whole what could you have done better to not be in the situation to begin with, I remember the hacks that well, it kind of did just lose me the game. Was I had a Flygon in front of his Thundurus. I think I was Terra Fire, so I couldn't get Ice Sharded by his Baxcalibur. But
Yeah.
Thundurus went for a T-Bolt. As we all know, or maybe, well, I think we all know this, Thunderbolt has a 10% chance to paralyze you.
Yeah,
I
I
get
especially know
paralyzed.
that. I remember my season 4 game with Anastasia.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, that had to hurt. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, like I got paralyzed and lost the game because everything was in range to lose to a +1/+1 Flygon. But at the end of the day, I couldn't even be upset about it because whenever Flygon got paralyzed, I was literally down 1-6. So it's like I can be upset that Flygon got paralyzed, but at the same time, I've already lost 5 of my Pokemon, and this is a desperate attempt to win the game.
Yeah.
So it's like, things happen, man. Things happen.
Things happen for sure. All right. We've been going on for a good while here. This has been a great interview, my friend. I've enjoyed this so much. I just want to ask, where do you see the future of draft and the BHDL and in regards to now that we know about Pokemon champions and perhaps one day we can have a Terra Pokemon fighting a Mega Pokemon, you know what I mean?
I excuse me. I feel like draft is just going to continue to grow because first and foremost, correct me if I'm wrong because I don't. I feel like you know more about the formats than I do. But isn't there like already a showdown format that allows for like Terras and Megas and like
Yeah,
all
the
that other
national
stuff?
decks, yeah.
Yeah, so basically they're taking. I mean, they're not. literally taking this, but they're basically taking the concept of that format and they're giving it to us in a way that we could actually use it, but on console. Because I have a feeling that more people may or may not mind national decks if it was for the fact that it's on Showdown. Because I know some people they hate the idea of playing on Showdown. They want to play on the console. So
Yeah.
now that we have an option to do that, I feel like it's going to bring like, maybe it's right. It could bring a lot more attention to it depending on how we balance it out. Because I don't
Yeah,
know.
and because
I
that
don't know
thing
anything.
too is we don't exactly know how it'll be either. Because I think National Dex, it's the thing it also includes is all of the old moves that the Pokemon used to have, and Z moves and
Mm.
Dynamax. There's no confirmation yet about Z moves or Dynamax. We can assume there probably will be. But the thing is that we don't know about the moves, so that'll be a big thing too. And all the Pokemon, it's really gonna come down to how they want to do it. But that's the beauty, though, is that we can always make up our own rules, at least in terms of, personally, it'll be my rule to not allow Dynamax. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because then you just come in
Yeah,
max knuckle, max airstreams,
yep.
GG.
GG's, bro. I got a Moxie Gyarados with Max Airstream.
Or sheesh. I remember like back in not to get too off topic, but I do remember back in Gen 8, I would run bounce on Cinderace
Oh,
for
you
no other
gotta run the
reason.
bounce on the Cinderace, bro, for the Max
Yeah.
Airstream. Because
But
did Libero activate for that?
it does.
Yeah, there you go. And back then, the classic Libero, you could just keep on changing it up.
Same with Granny, and then they had to
Yes.
balance it because they was like, oh no, you guys are doing too much. But but yeah, I definitely think draft is going to continue to grow because first of all, I feel like just in Gen 9 alone, it's grown a lot. Now I have been told that one of the biggest reasons it wasn't as popular in Gen 8 is because there wasn't a 1 hour timer back then.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely. And that's what prevented a lot of. I think another big reason it's grown so much in Gen 9 is because of all the PokeTubers, like the fact that Pokegame basically brought back so many people to watching draft. It got more people interested in general and in playing it. So it's all
mhm.
a feedback loop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I feel like now granted I do know that like Wi-Fi battles are still typically more popular. But I do feel like another reason draft is like becoming more and more popular is I'm not sure how long it's been since you've done like just casual Wi-Fi battles, but I feel
It's been a
like
minute.
in particular in OU, a lot of people just bring the same exact teams. Like if it's
Yeah.
if you're playing someone and they're not specifically saying it's an OU mixed team, there's like almost a 100% chance they're gonna have Dragapult, Zamazenta, Corviknight, Slowking Galar,
Oh wow, yeah.
and then like 2 other Pokemon. And I feel like in Smogon, like a lot of teams have just became stale.
Oh
Like people are
yeah.
using the same
That's what
stuff,
happens. And
but
not
then
only
it,
that, we're in the Pokemon drought right now,
that
where
too.
we're not gonna have another game. So yeah, for sure.
So I do feel like one thing that's gotten what's gotten it more looked at is the fact like you see more unique things. You're not just
Yes,
watching the same thing over and
absolutely.
over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I remember in Gen 8, I think the reason why I had so many Wi-Fi battles back then, well, in part was the Battle Hub server, but
Hmm.
also was because I was using all the Pokemon that I had bred and trained, so I was intentionally going out of my way to use Pokemon that weren't standard, because if I just keep using the same Pokemon, how does that make for an interesting YouTube video if I'm using the same exact team over and over again? So like every video had to be a new team, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
uh battling in the RU tier, the NU tier, and things like that, and then having people that would be able to battle in those tiers, that's what made the Battle Hub server so great. Um,
It
but
was
not that's
so
the thing though, not everybody is going to be doing that. People that are just wanting their own Wi-Fi battles, of course, they're just going to keep on using the same 6 teams or the 6 Pokemon that are the most
yeah.
standard, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
having a format where people are intentionally trying to use unique Pokemon, like you say, that's key.
Yeah, because I feel like especially nowadays, since it's like um not as many people requesting battles, I do feel like you kind of have to switch your teams up because if you don't, you're probably gonna play the same person twice, and you
Yeah, you're
can't.
gonna
You just can't keep.
go back to playing Pokemaster again. That's the thing I'm looking forward to now that I'm finally done with the draft. Is hopefully one of these days I'll start getting back on to just casual Wi-Fi battles again.
See, I was having the same thought, getting back into casual Wi-Fi battles and maybe even getting back into
Yeah, because I want
rank.
to get back up my numbers up because I had over 200 games recorded on my channel for
Mhm.
Sword and Shield. I want to get that up in Scarlet and Violet.
Now, something I do want to do is get back into ranked singles as well because at least on my channel, that's where like the videos I have that get the most views have typically been those. And some Smogon battles, but I'll probably just get back into Smogon because I know like in rank, so I'm pretty sure you already know this, but starting I think it's next month or it might have started this month. They're gonna have like the double restricted, where you can have like basically two box arts on your team now.
Yep,
Not
Regulation 9.
sure. Not sure if I want to upload like do ranked and upload those. Just do Smogon and upload those. Like I do want to go to doing something casual. Because the only thing I'm gonna hate about the double restricted is I'm pretty confident most teams are either gonna be Miraidon Kyogre or Koraidon Groudon. Not
Oh
Koraidon,
boy.
but Ho-Oh Groudon, and it's like same
Yeah.
stuff. I want some variety when I'm making these videos.
Yeah, exactly. Because especially like I said, like my prediction, I mean, obviously we've got Legend ZA coming out, but of course there's
Yes,
not going to be any online play with that, you know? So it's like how long, did you ever play Legends Arceus?
I did. I even
Ha-
played it. I actually recently beat it too.
Yeah, see, you only recently beat it. That's what I'm saying is that I played it and then I played it for a while and then I put it down. And then I didn't come back to it until I had to get an Amorous for Pokemon Home. And
And
I'm worried about ZA doing the same thing.
see, I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually the only reason I stepped away from it was two reasons. One, I was trying to complete the Pokédex like anybody else would, but I was struggling to catch the genies. Eventually, Pokemaster and Lazy Boy were very kind and gave me some pointers that helped me catch these genies.
Yeah, I
Um,
had to watch some YouTube videos to get them because they were tough.
yes, like you have a lot of. Listen, if anyone's watching this and they're trying to attempt this challenge for whatever reason, you need a lot of smoke screens, a lot of them. And
Yep.
something else that was really tough for me in that game was finding a Cherubi because for God knows what reason that Pokemon just doesn't want to spawn for me. The only reason I even got one is because Rolder actually traded me one. But without that, like to this day, I've never seen a Cherubi in my Legends Arceus. And
Yeah.
then
I just
after I
traded over a lot of stuff to Pokemon Home, I'm gonna be honest with you, to get Arceus to fill up the decks. I only
and
caught the
see,
genies because I wanted more of them for VGC, you know what I mean?
yeah, see, I did the same thing to fill up my decks quicker in Legends Arceus, but as everyone may or may not know, Cherubi is equally, if not more, hard to get in Diamond and Pearl than it is in god dang Legends Arceus. It makes no sense how long I was waiting on a Cherubi. And then even after I got it, it took me a long time to beat the game because Arceus just spammed Judgment over and over
Oh
again. And
yeah, I don't know. You can go back and watch. There's a video that I made of me fighting against Arceus, and I died several times. Thankfully, I got to you just gotta get to those checkpoints, bro. You gotta get to the 25%, the 50%, and at least you can save there and keep going. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, having to go through the whole thing and not die once, oof, I
you
don't
and
have the skill for that.
you want to know something painful?
Yeah.
I didn't learn about the checkpoints until Pokemaster told me about them after I beat the
Oh
Arceus.
no, you failed. Oh my goodness, I can't. You're trying to do a perfect run.
Not because here's the thing. Every time, I mean, I know there's an option for it, but the way it was worded and the way I'm reading it, I'm thinking like, okay, if I click this, it's gonna just take me out the game. I didn't know it's saying like, because I want to say it just says continue. I didn't know that continue meant continue the battle. I thought it was saying like, okay, you can continue. Like I just lost, so
Like,
naturally, if I
yeah,
continue,
one would think, yeah, if I continue, then I'm just going to be a. Dang, that's insane.
yes,
Yeah.
because
So,
he
but
told
you
me you
really
could
did
do
that
it.
though.
Yes, like it took me, bro. I want to say it took me several days. Like I want
Yeah.
to say it was during BHDL season 5, and I remember me and Roder and Pokemaster would do mocks, and like in between, obviously when one of us is mocking the other person not doing anything. So whenever it's not my turn to do mocks, I would try to do it like a few games at a time. And I'll just tell them guys like, "Yep, I'm done for the day." What you mean? Listen, he didn't kill me 3 times already. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not putting myself through this. I'm done.
Dang.
But yeah,
Yeah, you should go
hopefully.
go find it on my channel. The I think I put the Cynthia's theme underneath, and I just edited the whole thing together and sped it up, like me struggling and just constantly dodging and trying to beat Arceus.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out for sure. But since we know they're bringing Megas back because of Legend ZA, how do you feel like? Because I don't think I've really heard anyone talk about this, but how do you feel like Megas are going to interact with Terras? Like, which one do you feel like is going to be? Because you've played with X and Y, so from
Yep.
your experiences, which one do you feel like you're going to get more of a benefit out of, Terroring or just clicking your Mega button?
Yeah, so the Megas, keep in mind, you'd have to commit a Mega Stone to that Pokemon. So I remember a lot of times that was the big thing. It was like, well, technically speaking, Heracross is stronger with a Choice Band than a Mega Stone. But it's like, okay, well, it also, with the Mega Stone, it can still change up its moves, slots, of course. But in the terms of draft, you have to commit a slot to that. So there's
Mhm.
no item that you could put on that. So that limits creativity a little bit. The Terra, um, assuming there's still Terra preview, even with that, I mean, there's a lot more variety that you could use with that. Let's say if that's your Terra Captain, then it could be 18 types. If it's your Mega, there's not as much. But in terms of the actual game, I mean, that can give you a new ability. That can give you technically you could change your type too, add on a new type, or take one away, like with
Mhm.
Aggron. And obviously it also improves your stats, so I think they both can do things in a certain way. I would probably give the edge to Megas a little bit, just because of the stat increase and everything. But like I said,
Mhm.
Terras are give you a lot more variety. So yeah, it'll be
For
great to see
sure.
them interact.
So
I
this will
just
be
hope
my
we're gonna take off Dynamax though. No Dynamax, please.
Yeah, I don't like honestly, if they bring back Z moves Dynamax and Dynamax, I would not be surprised if most drafts that allow like if we try to make this into a draft where you can use all of them, I would not be surprised if Dynamax just got straight up banned. Like, oh, you could bring Z moves, Mega and Terra, but that Dynamax stuff, yeah, leave that at home. I would not be
Yeah,
surprised.
Z moves will be very interesting too. I'm trying to remember whenever we had draft with Z moves, like if we had to like pick a certain we probably had to draft a certain Z move type, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably. And what's I about to say? But I do feel like it's gonna be very interesting because because now draft is gonna just be more complex. But
Yeah,
I'm glad.
yeah. Basically, you have to draft a Mega, you have to draft Terra Captain, and you have to draft Z Crystal.
And see, I never had to use Mega, so I don't even know like I have nothing to compare it to, so I don't even know what to expect from it. But it sounds like it's gonna be pretty darn fun.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them. I think they look cool, but I've never once been able to use them. And yeah, like ZA, hurry up! Like we've been waiting for you. You already gotta
Exactly.
wait on the
This
news.
is the Pokemon Z we never got. Honestly, I think I will probably play ZA a lot more than Arceus, just because Pokemon X and Y was my first game, and being able to hear that beautiful Pokemon X and Y music again, remixed, and go back to Lumiose. Like I will probably legitimately play that just for fun, honestly, just to relive my first time playing Pokemon. And Megas, of course, the Megas. That's what's gonna keep me going.
And I think it's cool that they have that new feature in the game. From what I saw in well, actually, I don't know if I should even mention this. Well, actually, Pokemon Day was like
It,
almost two
it's
months
all
ago.
it's
So
all revealed. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
yeah, you
it's
can notice. So I think it's cool that they did. Granted, you can't battle other people, but I do think it's cool they added that like that after dark feature where you're battling like
yes,
all those trainers trying to rank from Z to A.
that'll be a
So
good way to keep us going and like kind of like that's what we're doing to play the game basically is ranking
hmm
up. And I've heard, of course, this isn't like confirmed, but the theory is since they say that you get a wish, that is how you get Hoopa.
interesting.
At least that's what the people on Twitter are saying. That's what
because
I've
they
heard.
have
That's the
because they
theory.
have because they have put mythicals. I feel like in pretty much every game so far on the Switch. I didn't play Let's Go, so I
Yes,
don't know about
exactly.
those.
Let's go. I mean, that was basically how you got Meltan, and you had to, dude, you had to buy a freaking Pokeball, which I'm ashamed to say that I did indeed buy the Pokeball with Mew in it. I
Oh
shilled
my!
out for it, but yeah.
Because I remember in Sword and Shield they gave us Keldeo. In this game they gave us Meloetta. In Legends
Yes.
Arceus you could get
They gave us
Manaphy,
so many. They gave
Darkrai,
us
and
Manaphy,
Shaman.
Darkrai, Shaman, and of course Arceus. So please, Pokemon, give us Diancie, Volcanion, and Hoopa because I never got my own chance to just catch them. You know, you can only get them through events, and even then, I didn't get Diancie or Volcanion. I had to get them from other people.
And what's crazy, I actually got Sword and Shield just in time to get Volcanion. Like around the time I got it, I got the game, was around the time they was doing the Volcanion. I want to say it was Volcanion Zarude and
I really
oh
don't
no
know
no no
how I missed
Volcanion
that
Marshall.
Volcan. I don't know how I missed that Volcanion event, bro. I must have been off my game or something because how could I got Zarude, but I
Hmm.
didn't get Volcanion. How did I miss it? I must have missed it must have been in my email somewhere. I don't know.
Now the thing that I wish I didn't miss, but I've missed it. So as people from BHDL know, I have drafted the legendary Pikachu on multiple occasions. And one
Yep.
thing that does break my heart is seeing everyone who has like their Pikachu like the special hats, and then it's just
Oh
me.
yeah.
Uh, I couldn't get one of those.
Hopefully they'll do a re-release of that. I can't remember when it came out. Sometime in Oras, I think they did the Ash Hat Pikachu's, and I chose the Sinnoh one just because I thought that that would be the one that people would pick the least. Um, I was trying to go for the rare one, at least what I thought in my head. But hopefully they'll do a re-release of that for the 30-year anniversary. That's what I'm hoping because my theory is Gen 10, 2026, just like they did in 2016, they
Mhm.
re-release all the mythicals. They have GameStop events for the whole year leading up to Gen 10.
Because something I feel like is because something I mentioned to someone else, but something I have been kind of surprised about is I remember in Sword and Shield around this time that well actually well before this time relative to Sword and Shield's life they had already given us like the shiny box arts in advance, and I have been sitting here this whole time like, so are they going to give us a shiny Miraidon and Koraidon event?
That's a great point. That's usually at the end of the cycle for the game, which, technically speaking, bro, I don't think we're gonna get that for a little
Maybe
bit.
a year.
Maybe we would get it for. Would we get it for? When did it come out? Did it come out before or after Legends ZA?
Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, the one or the oh, not Legends ZA. I mean, I was Legends Arceus. Did we get the shiny Zamazenta and Zacian before or after Legends Arceus?
I think we got it after.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we're gonna have to wait a bit for that, closer to the release of Gen 10.
Because one thing I do remember, Scarlet and Violet released in November, and the shiny event for Zacian and Zamazenta was in May of that same year.
Okay.
So it was like half a year before the games came out. So yeah.
Yeah, May
Man,
2026.
that's a long time, man. Well, I mean, hey, listen, if they do it, they do it. Because I know Koraidon at least has a really cool shiny.
Yep.
Game Freak, if you want to give us a shiny Chi, I wouldn't mind that either,
Yes, because I missed out. I think I only have shiny Galarian Moltres. I missed the other two on events. I need to make sure that I do not miss those. And just like I don't know why they always fall through the cracks. I think the only one I got of the Tapus was shiny Tapu Koko. I just missed out on the others. I'm really sad that I did not get shiny Tapu Lele because I love that Pokemon so much. But I am gonna make sure to be like online and not let life get in the way of me getting all four shiny uh Ruination Pokemon because all those guys are so cool.
Not to sound like I'm rubbing it in, but I have to say, out of all the Tapus, coincidentally, the only shiny one I have, like the only legit shiny one I have, is actually Tapu Lele.
Ah,
Now the
that's
other
crazy,
three I
bro.
could never get, but Tapu Lele was the one I got. And I can say that in Gen 8, I used that thing a lot because Tapu Lele was just Well, you played Gen 7, so you already know this thing's a
Oh
demon.
yes, absolutely, bro. I remember whenever they I was walking through high school and like seeing the leaks about Psychic Surge, and I was like, what? A terrain that stops priority and it boosts psychic moves by 1.5? I was like, that's crazy.
And I
And
can't
it
remember
was
what
so
Tapu
busted they
Lele.
had to nerf it down to 1.3.
And it's only because of the god darn Pokemon they gave it to in the first place. And even
Yeah.
then, I don't even think it's so much the fact that they get the boost as much as Game Freak should have thought. Like, y'all are giving this to a Pokemon with a base 130 special attack.
Not
You're
only
hitting
that, it's
different.
part fairy. So it's type that it's supposed to wall it. It can also hit easily.
So it's like, this is going to get out of hand
Yeah, and
regardless.
of course there's steel types, but you know, if you hit like the Pokemon used to have a saying, if you can hit Focus Blast, Tapu Lele is unstoppable, basically.
It's funny. I'm
Yep.
not
So
gonna
imagine
lie.
if that thing could Terra. Ooh, that thing's getting banned.
Which is why I'm not surprised they left it out. They left it out of
Yes, yeah, that's why I can forgive Game Freak for not allowing the Tapus or the Ultra Beasts because they would be super
demonic.
busted.
It would be demonic in this generation.
Yeah. Could you imagine Terra Cartana?
Um, I just know that Scorpion would probably draft it first round every single time, and I'd be scared to fight him with
That
it.
that thing would be banned. We would not. I would be the first one to line up and say, we cannot have because well, you never played Gens. Well, no, but you played Gen 8, so you still got to use it, right? So you know how what that thing's attack stat is, right? It's like 181 or something.
Yes, because I remember I would either do and I wasn't like in any servers or anything back then, but I would do like a lot of like ranked singles or just do like random Wi-Fi battles. And there was a point in time where you could not play like ranked and someone wouldn't have Cortana on their team because they would just use the combination of the max boost and its beast boost to just snowball you. It was kind of
Yeah,
obnoxious because this thing just, yeah. But this is why it was nice that I had a Cinderace on every team. Because I'm sitting here like, try me, Cortana. You're 4 times weak to this. Try me, please try me, please try me.
yeah. You know, that's
But
a good point. Well, I forgot about that. That's why I really even more so needed the Battle Hub server because fighting the randos where I was limiting myself. Like I wouldn't allow myself to use Dynamax, you know, because I wanted like a legit OU battle. Of course, the randos are always using Dynamax, you know, can't do much about that. So yeah, having to
but
fight those guys, man.
I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't until Gen 9 that I learned about like Smogon tier. Because here's the thing: back in Gen 5, right? I would
Yep.
play guys on Neo Seeker, and they would be like, they would name a tier. I didn't know that what the heck tiers were, so I just assumed the Pokemon I had would just be in the tier, right? So I remember
Yep.
someone asked for an OU battle, and I bring a Darkrai, which, as we know, has been Ubers until this generation. And the first thing he said to me was, "You brought an Uber. Why'd you bring an Uber to an OU game?" And I'm sitting here like, relax. I don't know what an Uber is. And then bro broke down to me how the tiering thing worked.
Yeah.
In one ear, out the other. But um, in this generation, though, yeah, man. It's just a lot of
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Thankfully, I was literally like handheld all the way through into Smogon because my friend that got me into Pokemon also already he knew all about EVs and IVs and Smogon already. So it was like I
Mm.
had the perfect guide to guide me through into Pokemon. It's a shame that he no longer also plays Pokemon. If only he could see the 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 butterfly effect that he's caused by introducing me into Pokemon.
Oh, and my thought just came back to my mind too. So I remember I was going to say about Smogon. See, the thing about Smogon, I didn't learn till this generation that if I would have played in Gen 8, that Dynamax would have been banned. Because
Yep.
I'm sitting here like, I don't know a lot about Smogon, but I'm pretty sure the gimmicks will always be allowed, right? It's literally what you're getting, well, I ain't gonna say literally what you're getting the game for, but it's part of the reason you get the game because of the gimmick.
Yeah.
So when I learned that Smogon banned a whole gimmick and even contemplated banning Terra, I was just sitting here like, whoa.
You know what? You bring up a good point. You know,
They
I
think,
remember whenever the game was first coming out, like there was a real like hot contention of whether or not Terra would be allowed or limited. It was like, well, what do we do about it? And it seems like we all came to the same conclusion that it's like Well, let's keep Terra because Terra is fun. Let's just ban all the problem Pokemon. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Because Terra, I mean, now granted, I've never actually played. As we know, I didn't play Gen 6 and Gen 7, but from what I've seen, it looks like Terra is probably the most balanced mechanic like balanced gimmick they've ever made. But maybe
Uh,
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
well, I mean, I think Z moves were just less because they were just like one turn, and I mean, you could use Protect and only take 25% of the damage. Um,
True.
but I mean, t I would say that Terra is definitely the most bang for your buck. I think it's probably one of the better ones, like you say, because and I knew that this was gonna happen because I saw what happened in Gen 6, which was basically all the megas dropped, and then immediately it was like, oh, Mega Kangaskhan, busted, ban that. Mega Gengar with Shadow Tag, ban that. Mega Blaziken, ban that. It was like boom, boom, boom. Mega Mawile, you're out of here. And we just kept
Like,
on going
oh
down
yeah.
the line of like, and that's the same that happened here. It was like, what did we lose? We lost Chiyu, Chien-Pao, then it was like Palafin, Volcarona. It was like you go down the line, getting rid of the most powerful stuff, another one takes its place, and you keep going until you finally find a point where things are stable. You know, I remember there was
Yeah.
one point where Mega Charizard X almost got banned, but I don't think it did.
And then I've also now on the flip side of that, I've also heard about some crazy things that were allowed to just be in the tier. Cause I do remember someone telling me like back in like Gen 6 or 7, KB was allowed to be an OU, and I'm sitting here like KB in
Yes,
OU.
Cure and Black, because keep in mind, first of all, no heavy duty boots. That thing's taking 25%. It did not have I want to say it didn't have Dragon Dance, or I might be remembering that wrong. I know it didn't have uh, Icicle Spear, so that helped a lot. Yeah, it is
Hmm.
crazy to think about the fact that thing was just there.
And I've even seen like some drafts, like more and more drafts are like that are basically structured the same ways our season 4 was. I've seen more and more drafts like that that are actually allowing KB.
Yeah,
Now, usually, whenever he's allowed, there's like a complex ban attached to him, such as, oh, he can't hold loaded dice, or
yeah,
hey, he can have loaded dice, but if he has loaded dice, he can't have Dragon Dance. Like, little
exactly. Yeah, that was the
like,
biggest thing. Yeah, I'm seeing in Gen 6 he didn't know Dragon Dance. Yep, that was the biggest thing. Because you look at it, and okay, you've got this 170 base attack, but also you've got 95 base speed. You're weak to rocks, so there was a lot of things that was like it was manageable enough. You know what I mean? But with all the other things that they've added now, it's like nah, we cannot have this box art legendary be here. You know what I mean?
absolutely not. Especially not in like, well, I don't think I feel like in draft is one thing, but I know for a fact they're never going to entertain it in OU, like Smogon OU, because it's like no, it's going to just dominate everything. Because
Yeah, it's just gonna DD and because it's super bulky, so one Dragon Dance and you're cooked.
I mean, and I feel like, and I thought we've seen a lot of dragons get banned too. Like for example, Roaring Moon and Gouging Fire, both this year gone, and
Oh,
well,
that's right. Wasn't that Roaring Moon banned recent?
like last month I think.
Yeah, that's crazy that they finally did it. Yeah.
Took them forever. I don't know. I haven't been playing Smoke on as much, but maybe it's just me. But whenever I see things get banned, 9 times out of 10 when I play them, I don't. I feel like I don't struggle like that with these Pokemon. But at the same time, I don't necessarily bring actual OU teams because, like I said before, I find those kind of stale.
Yeah.
So it might just be more of a surprise factor. I don't know. I just know whenever I've seen them in draft, though, like I know you had Gouging Fire in season 3. Beard, you had Roaring Moon this season, and I just know every time I watch y'all and y'all are using these mods, like they're just getting okay. That's dead. That's dead. That's dead. That's super dead.
Yep. Yeah, I know what
But
you mean. Ah,
yeah, cool, 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 cool.
yeah. Well, Brandon, we've been talking for quite a long time. This has been a great conversation. I hate to take up more of your night, my friend. We like you get me talking about Pokemon. I could talk about Pokemon for forever. You know what I mean?
And
Is there any other closing thoughts that you have for our interview here?
honestly, I probably could have answered this like 30 minutes ago, but now that we done talked about all this stuff, I got all these thoughts in my head. I honestly cannot say I have any closing thoughts that won't keep the conversation going. So I'm gonna just
There
say,
you
yeah.
go. A good
Yeah, you
point.
did.
We've said all that needed to be said, I think.
For
Thank you,
sure.
Brandon, for joining me for being a commissioner in the BHDL, and let's hope for many more fruitful seasons to come.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
All right, peace out.
Peace.